there any way, please? My husband just came home from heart surgery this morning.
Calvin looked at the clock. 5:52 p.m., 8 minutes before closing. The package was already flagged, returned to sender after 5 p.m. He shook his head.
I'm sorry, ma'am. The system's locked. I can't override it without supervisor approval.
The woman nodded, picked up her missed delivery notice, and walked back outside to wait for the bus. Calvin returned to his desk, but his hands didn't move. Through the small window, he watched Diane sit on the cold bench, pulling her coat tighter. She wasn't crying. She wasn't causing a scene. She just sat there, the way people sit when they've accepted that the world doesn't bend for them. 19 years at USPS. Not one violation. Calvin had built his career on following the rules, because for a black man in a federal job, the rules were the only thing protecting him. His supervisor had flagged him last month. One more incident and the conversation would get serious. He had a wife without a paycheck and a son's tuition bill on the counter. He could not afford to gamble. But a different memory surfaced. 22 years ago, his mother needed medication after surgery, and a pharmacist said the system wouldn't allow it after hours. He still remembered that long night. Calvin stood up. He walked to the door and said quietly,
Ma'am, come back inside.
He pulled up the override screen and typed carefully. Full name, employee ID, personal authorization. Every field filled out correctly. He located the package and placed it on the counter at 5:57 p.m. Diane picked it up with both hands. Thank you, she said. Just 2 words that carried everything. She made the 6:01 bus. Calvin locked up alone. At 9:17 the next morning, 2 federal agents from the USPS Office of Inspector General walked through the door. Calvin's stomach dropped. But they weren't there to discipline him. The pharmacy that sent that package was under investigation for insurance fraud. They needed to confirm the final recipient was a real patient, not part of the scheme. Calvin was the only one who signed, the only one who documented the full chain. His paperwork was clean and complete, and investigators could close that part of the case. 3 days later, his supervisor called him in. Calvin braced himself. Instead, she slid a printed OIG commendation across the desk and told him the station manager position had reopened. She was personally recommending him. He had applied 3 times before, always passed over. He never found out if Diane's husband recovered. He never saw her again. But he learned something no handbook ever teaches. The moments when doing right costs you the most are exactly the moments that define everything after. Comment: he signed his name so a stranger wouldn't suffer.